good, YouTube? This hood is really light. Giddy up! If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted of any new uploads that I do, and hit the like because it helps the channel to grow. On with the video. And I am here to do kind of a bittersweet review on my own Ford Mustang that you can see in the background there. It is a 2012 Mustang V6. So it's got the 3.7 liter engine in it. It's called the Cyclone engine if you didn't know. The V8 is the Coyote, and then you've got the Voodoo engine and all those other crazy names for the engines. But I can't keep it because, as you saw in one of my other videos, I've just bought a Camaro convertible with the RS package. So this car back here has to go. So as I said, it's bittersweet. And I want to say this car has been super reliable. It has an intake on it, it has an exhaust, it's been tuned by MPT, it's got a throttle body from a 5.0, so it's got an 80mm throttle body on it instead of like a 67 or 63mm, whatever the original one was. So it is way quicker than stock, especially being tuned. But this car has, nothing has ever broken or went wrong on this car. The only thing I've done in the 8 years I've owned it is change the battery. So it has been super reliable. I can't say enough good things about this car as far as its reliability and durability. And I have driven it hard many times. So without further ado, it's not going to be like a normal car review. I'm just going to show you some of the mods I've done and some other things, but let me know what you think. Leave your comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate that because it helps the channel to grow. And let's get on with the video. I love the look of this car still. I've had nothing but compliments on this car since I've owned it, and I'm going to put some pictures up on the screen so that you can see what it looked like originally. But it had different wheels, it was totally based on the outside of the car, and it did not have a spoiler or anything. So plenty has been done to this car to make it look the way that it looks today. I was always in love with these pedestal spoilers because that's the kind that the Boss 302 and the Mustang GT California Special comes with, and I always thought that they was the best looking spoiler on this particular model Mustang. So let me go ahead and just give you kind of a rundown of everything that I have done to this car since I've had it. As I said, it came completely base on the outside. The inside has got like red leather seats, the shaker stereo system, everything like that. But the outside of the car was nothing to behold by any means. So I kind of wanted a fresh slate for me to do my own thing with this car, and that's exactly what I did. So let's just go ahead, start off at the front of the car, and I'll explain some of what I did. So first thing is I got a little plastic cover to go over the Mustang symbol to make it black instead of the silver, and that was about, I think, $30, so that wasn't bad. And then I also put these carbon fiber look pinstripes on the hood, and it's very faint. Oh my gosh, my alarm goes off every single time I'm trying to do a video. Sorry about that. So I put the pinstripes on the hood, and then I also put, I don't know if you can see it, this is also carbon fiber look, so it is basically the hood spears. And then I went ahead and put the hash marks on the fenders too. And I sold my original wheels, which were just tiny little 17-inch wheels, and I bought these 18s off of Craigslist. This was years ago, and I got these wheels for only $200. And I sold my original 17-inch wheels for only, I sold them for $150. So really I only ended up paying $150. I mean, only ended up paying $50 based on what I sold my wheels for. So I got these, which are like premium wheels, and then got some tires for them and whatnot. And then as you can see at the front, a little bit of ground effects. So I also went with a carbon fiber look down here. Just got that off of eBay. These were like $13. This was like $10. And I got the front lip, which is just the ABS plastic, which makes the car look a lot lower and a lot more aggressive at the front. That was only like $70. So I like to do everything. I feel like you can make your car look good without spending a bunch of money, especially if it's a Mustang, because parts are abundant. And then I will show you these. I got some halo lights, which if you look close, you should be able to see Optimus Prime's face in there. I've always loved these lights. It gives the car a much more aggressive look than the regular halogen lights that you got on the 2012s. At nighttime, when you put the full beams on, Optimus Prime, if you pull up to a wall, his face shines on the wall. So people always kind of get a kick out of that, especially little kids. I did at one point have carbon fiber wing mirror covers, but I lost one. So then I ended up taking them off. I put the side vents on, which I got from No, I didn't get them from American Muscle. I got them from also on eBay. They was $179 on American Muscle website. They were like $300 painted. And then the vents, I bought these unpainted. They're window louvers, and I got those for $30. Painted them myself. So did all of that. The car did already have tinted windows when I bought it. So that was kind of already done, and I did already buy the car with the Roush exhaust, which you will hear in a moment. Sounds awesome. This painted Boss 302 style spoiler, also got that from eBay. That was only $89. And as you see, I followed the pinstripes all the way back. And then I spent $10 to black out this rear tail brake light. And then I spent another $10 to black out the side markers on the front and on the back of the car. I know you can't tell right now because my lights are on, but these are actually blacked out. You can't, they blend in with the body when when the car is off. And let's just go ahead and take a quick look at the trunk. And as you can see, it is in perfect condition. There's definitely no wear or tear in here whatsoever. And most of these Mustangs come with like a air kit. But when I bought this car, I told the dealer that I wanted a real spare. So I made them buy me a spare before I bought the car, which to me I thought was quite a smart move. Let me also go ahead and show you. Let me turn my lights off real quick. So this car also, I blacked out the rear tail lights. So lights on, it's off, tail lights all blacked out. Also gives the car a much more aggressive look. These, I didn't have to use any kind of weird spray. They're just tail light covers that you stick on. So it's easy on, easy off, which I love. I think that makes it a lot more simple. Let's go ahead and take a look at the engine before we dive into the interior. Okay, so this car, engine-wise, is not heavily modded. So I don't have like headers or X-pipe or anything like that. I've just got the Roush Axleback exhaust, and then I bought a JLT cold air intake, which this is a different filter. I just bought one instead of cleaning the other one. This was about $300, and I did get that from AmericanMuscle.com. And I bought this online, tower strip brace, and that was about $100. And I also bought this engine cover, which they don't usually come with this. A very specific package you had to get that engine cover, and I think that was about $100 at the time too. So intake, and I wanted another throttle body, a larger one, to get more torque, because these cars originally only have like 280 foot-pounds of torque. So I bought a throttle body off of someone on eBay that was selling one for $40. The original throttle body size I'll put on the screen, but it's somewhere between, I think, 63 and 68 millimeters. The one off of the 5.0 is 80 millimeters. I bought that for $40, and then I bought an adapter plate for around $70, so that I could put it and connect it to the intake manifold. And there's a few other little things you've got to do, like you've got to shave the fins down on the inside of the intake manifold, but it's really not hard to do. So basically, instead of spending $300 or $400 on one of those BBK throttle bodies, and it only takes you up to like 73 millimeter from 68, I bought one, did the work myself, went to an 80 millimeter, which is obviously going to allow more airflow than a 73 millimeter. And then I got the car tuned by MPT, and the car made a ton more power all the way through the power band. So when I first put the throttle body on, I could tell it had more torque instantly. But then when I got the car tuned, the power band all the way through was just a lot more aggressive. So stock, in case you didn't know, these cars came with 305 horsepower, 208 foot-pounds of torque. But since the car does have the intake and does have the throttle body, I'm guessing it probably makes somewhere between 330 to 340 at the crank. I don't know what the wheel horsepower would be. I know that American Muscle did a dyno with these cars after it being tuned, and it made 36 more horsepower with just the tune and no other mods. So I'm assuming with the mods that I have, I'm estimating on the low side, I should at least be at 330 or 340 to the crank. I'm specifying to the crank, not to the wheels, because I have never dynoed it. So that's a quick look under the engine bay. These cars do still have a solid rear axle. The Mustang did not go to a independent rear suspension until it went to the S550 body style, which was like 2015, so they still don't handle the best. Okay, so moving on to the interior of the car. As I said, this is the part that I did spend some money on, because I got the red and black leather seats, and I also got the shaker stereo system. I bought this floor plate for your foot, which that was like 15 bucks. It wasn't much. And in the back I also got some Mustang seatbelt pads, which you're wondering, why do I have them in the back and not the front? Because originally I bought them for the front, and then I realized I didn't like them that much. They looked kind of tacky, so then I stuck them to the back. So that's why they're in the back and not the front. And then I did also get the package where you can change all of the ambient lights. So when you turn the lights on, if you go through the setup, you can change the gauge color. So you can go through, see red, orange, purple. They're my colors where you kind of create them yourself. Kind of like an ice blue, green, etc, etc. So I changed that, I got that. And as well as changing the gauge color, it also changes the color that is in the, what am I trying to say? That's in the, look, in the, I can't spit my words out. In the cup holders. So it changes the cup holder color as well. It changes the ambient light color, and it also changes this door seal color down here. If you change the ambient light color, then you see colors change down here too. So, and the radio, you got to think back in 2012, all the cars did not have large touchscreens. So this is kind of normal for this generation Mustang. So before you knock it and say how old school it looks, don't, because that was the norm. And then I also kept this sticker, which comes in all the cars, that tells you about cars equipped with airbags and yada yada yada. What else did I do? Oh, I put a chrome cover on the handbrake. I got chrome door locks. That's not stock. I put a little carbon fiber piece look right here. I didn't want it all over the I didn't want it everywhere on the steering wheel. I just wanted it on this one part. And then I got these cue ball shifter, really nice looking one. I didn't want a small little itty bitty one. I wanted a big fat one for my big hands, and that was like $60. When I first got these, I bought like five of them, all different colors, and I couldn't think which color I wanted to keep, and then I settled on the white with the black. So just thought that it was a good contrast. And I also have this little symbol on the inside of my car. It's kind of an inside joke. I'm gonna wait before I tell you guys what MATS stands for, and put your guess in the comment section if you want to give your opinion on what that might mean. But it's kind of funny when I tell you. So you know what? I'm not even gonna wait. I'll just tell you right now. This actually stands for MATS, stands for Millennials Anti-Theft System, because millennials and anybody younger tend to not be able to drive a 6-speed or a manual transmission. So just kind of a joke. Don't get mad if you're a millennial and you can actually drive a manual, but a lot of you don't, or a lot of you opt out of driving the manual. And then here I have my very own heads-up display. So start the car, you can see Got a little heads-up display there. It actually works through the OBD2 port, so it comes on with the car, and as you can hear, give you a little blast of the exhaust. Oh man, I'm gonna miss that sound of that exhaust. Enough waffling on. I've showed you enough of the car, so let's go ahead and take it for a spin. And I drove to a different location so I could get on some twisty roads and have a little bit of fun. So here we go. Let's do some fun driving. Uno, dos, tres. A little bit of wheel spin. These are fun twisty roads here. Now, let me address the elephant in the room. Since I have a Mustang and I love Mustangs so much, why did I just go and switch to the dark side? Why did I get a Camaro? Well, I have always liked the Camaro and the Challengers and the Mustangs. However, I feel like they all meet a different criteria. Hold on, downshift to that. Woo. On the brakes, on the brakes. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention is the brakes on these cars, the stock brakes were absolute garbage. So I swapped them out for some power stock brakes a long time ago. So, they're drilled and slotted rotors. So this car stops a lot better, a lot sharper than what the original ones did. Ooh, listen to that exhaust. A lot of people say that these cars with an exhaust sound like a Nissan 350 or 370Z, but I actually disagree. Oh, listen to the crackles and pops. That's what I love about the Roush exhaust over the MagnaFlow. Speed up. One thing you might not be able to hear is the sound coming from the cold air intake up front. You can definitely hear it sucking air. Anyway, I don't think these sound like the 350 or 370Z. This is its own unique sound. What I would say is, when you buy one of these, make it what you want it to be, but don't try and make it be or make it sound like a V8. Just understand that it has its own unique cool sound. I mean, I get compliments all the time on what this car sounds like, even from guys that own a V8. So just own it, but don't try and think that it's going to sound all as deep and bassy and lopey as what a regular V8 with an exhaust does, because you won't quite get that sound out of it. But anyway, going back to why I got this, or got the Camaro instead of getting another Mustang, is because the Camaro is my favorite as a sports car, and I like doing twisty roads like this, and the Camaro's handling is hands down will smoke a Mustang or a Challenger, even a Mustang with a performance pack, because the chassis is just a better chassis, and the car's balance and its steering feel and its turning is way better than any Mustang that I've driven, and I've driven at least 30 to 40 Mustangs at this point. Boss 302s, performance pack Mustang, regular Mustang, EcoBoost, 5.0, 4.6. I've driven a whole bunch of them. Yes, obviously the GT350 and the GT500 are a different beast, but then you're talking about a car that costs $65,000 or even $100,000 if you're talking about the GT500. There we go. Let's get on the loud pedal. promise you. There we go. My Camaro has a stock exhaust on it. The only thing that it didn't come with that I really wanted was the active exhaust, because those cars sound really good, but I just couldn't find one at the time, so I settled for the regular exhaust, and it's so much more quiet than this car. That's the one frustrating part about it. But I will also say, woo, them pops, them crackling pops, I've always loved that about this car. Past an old Mustang with the 4.6 back there, GT. Anyway, one thing about this car is its handling. It's solid rear axle. If you hit a bump, you do get that scoot at the back. It feels like you're gonna die sometimes if you're going fast when you hit that bump. You do not get that in the Camaro. Also, if you're on a tight bend, that left to right action in the Camaro, the car stays perfectly flat because it's got a really stiff chassis, even in the base Camaros. I'm not including the ZL1 or the 1LE package or anything like that. I'm just talking about the regular base Camaros. Just handle so good. And because it's not my daily driver, that's why I got it. Because it's not really practical, because the trunk is so small and it's like a little tiny cabin that you're in. But for sports or country road driving, it's perfect. The seats hug me pretty good too, so I liked the Challenger. I almost got one of those, and that's the best car for cruising. That fits the most luggage in the back because the trunk's big, the rear seats are usable. But as I said, it's not my only car. I have a car just to drive to work, so I didn't really need the Challenger in that way. But the Challenger is the best cruiser. I feel like it's the true ultimate muscle car, especially if you get like the Scat Pack or the Hellcat. And then the Mustang, I feel like the Mustang slots right in the middle. It's kind of muscle car and kind of sports car now, especially the new S550 Mustangs. So they are kind of like the jack of all trades. So I actually would buy one of those Mustangs if it was going to be my only car and my daily driver. But since it's only my weekend car, summer car, that's the reason why I got the Camaro, and that's the reason why I got the convertible. And it's also the reason why I got the V6, because it comes stock with 335 horsepower, which is quicker than most people think. And for back roads, for me, that's all I need. Plus, the convertible SS prices for newer ones were crazy, so they're out of my budget. So that's why I went with the Camaro. But I'm telling you, this car right here, it's good. As far as handling, if you judge it by itself, just regular driving, it's fine, it's perfect. But if you're doing really aggressive track driving or country road driving, then you can feel more body roll than what you would like. So that's where it falls down, and you can just tell that because it's a solid rear axle, that kind of suspension is a little bit long in the tooth right now. So but yeah, the car still drives really nice. I'm cruising right now. I'm in 6th gear and I'm cruising at 60 miles an hour, and the car really doesn't have a drone. You do get some exhaust where when you're just in cruising mode, all you can hear is that loud drone sound, and that drives me insane. So that's another thing that I do really like about this exhaust setup, which I did not put on the car. It actually excuse me, it came with the car when I bought it. So I am the second owner of this car, and I bought it with only 20,000 miles on it. So it's done really well, and it's only got 68,000 miles now, coming up to 69,000. always have a work car to use to go to and from, and a car to drive the kids around. So this also is just a fun car, but when I first got this car, it was going to be my daily driver, and it was for about a year. And then I decided I really liked it, and I liked doing little you know, aesthetic changes to it and stuff like that. So then I decided I wanted it to be my weekend / fun car. But anyway, I'm about to get to some more twisty bits. All right, here we go, twisty bits. Let's get on the loud pedal. On the brakes. Nice. Okay, right hand turn. I can feel so much body roll in this car. And because I can feel so much body roll in this versus the Camaro, it gives me less confidence to take the turns quickly. Also, because in the Camaro the steering is really sharp, it's really on point, it feels like you're driving a BMW. It also gives you more confidence to go faster. And I've got small wheels. The wheels on this are 235 50 18s. So they've got a 50mm sidewall, whereas the ones on my Camaro, they're a 245, so they're already wider, and they're a 40 sidewall, so there's less flex in the tires, so that also helps the car handle better. If you don't know, performance cars usually have skinnier tires to help with the flex in the tire. And those wheels on the Camaro are 20-inch versus the 18 inches on this, so much bigger wheel. Woo! Okay, down to second, tight right hand. Let's go. One other thing to make mention of is, even though I upgraded the brakes in this, the stock brakes in my Camaro are also better. So I can brake later into the corner, get better turning feel, and less body roll, which ultimately on a track or on a back road makes this car extremely fast. I was kind of, as I mentioned before, thinking about getting a Dodge Challenger, maybe the RT, which is 332 to 35 horsepower. I mean, sorry, 372 to 375 horsepower, 410 foot-pounds of torque. Or it might be 400, but somewhere around there. And the Camaro is on par with it, even though it's the V6 versus the V8. They both, on paper, do 0 to 60 in like 5.1 seconds, 5 seconds flat. The Camaro has better traction, and I've driven a few RTs and I've driven multiple V6 Camaros, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this. And the Camaro will out-handle the RT on a back road any day of the week, easy. And they do the quarter mile in only a 1/10 of a second difference. The Camaro's official time is like 13.7, and the Challenger's is 13.6. Plus the Challenger weighs way over 4,000 pounds, whereas the Camaro, even though I got the convertible, is only 3,600 pounds. And if you get the hardtop, it's 3,300 pounds. So the power to weight ratio difference between the two cars is why their performance is so close, even though one's a 3.6 litre V6 versus a 5.7 litre V8. But it was close. I mean, I was really on the edge of maybe getting a Challenger, but I ended up getting the Camaro, which I will be doing a review on when the weather gets nicer, because it's a convertible and I want to do the review, part of it with the top up and part of it with the top down, so I can show you guys, and then you can let me know what you think. And it's a 2018, so it's 6 years newer than this, so it's supposed to feel a little better and a little bit more upscale and better technology, since this doesn't even have like an infotainment system. It just has that little green screen. One thing that this has that's way better than in the Camaro, though, the Camaro, I have the regular radio in it that just comes with it, which is decent, but this has the shaker sound system, so it's much louder. It's got much more bass to it. So this is, even though with the green screen, the sound quality is much better than in the Camaro. But anyway, I've waffled on for long enough. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you. I appreciate it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, give it a like, especially if you're a Mustang guy. But if you like muscle cars in general, just give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next video.